Hey guys, and welcome to this week's installment of Tuesdays with Lauri. My name is Lauri Laukkanen and I'm one of the editors at SLR Lounge. You can also find me on Facebook at Lauri Laukkanen Photography. In this week's installment of Tuesdays with Lauri, we're going to be talking about skin retouching. Let's open up Photoshop and let's get started. So here you guys can see the photo that I showed you guys a few weeks ago. And today we're going to talk about the skin retouching. So I'm going to zoom in quite close so we can really see the skin texture. And as you can see here, I've already done the skin retouching. And now I'm going to let's turn off some of the texture layers and the color grading layers for now. And now let's turn off these 3 skin retouch layers that I have here. As you can see, these layers just get rid of all the kind of imperfections in a way in the skin. And now here I'll start off by talking about the check layers. So I'm going to move these below here and we're going to do it again. So let's just put them in a group, hide them there and start skin retouching. So usually when I do skin retouching, at least when I go this crazy and really go for a beauty makeup shot and kind of want to get rid of all the tiny little imperfections, I use a black and white check layer. This kind of helps me to see all those even small little imperfections in the skin. So how it works is, now I'm going to show you guys, it's just a very dark contrasty black and white adjustment layer. So what you do is you go down here, go to black and white, and then pull down the red and yellow sliders until you get a really nice and contrasty look on the black and white. Now you can easily see all the pores in the skin and get rid of them much easier. Then when we have our black and white layer on, I create a new layer and I use the healing brush tool to skin retouch. So I'm going to zoom in at 100%, probably not 100, I think this will do. I think it's about like 80% zoomed in. And then how the healing brush works, you push down the Alt key and select a clean area of the skin. Let's say, for example, here. And then you paint it over on the areas that have those pores. And then now that you're zoomed in this close, you can really see all the little pores and details in the skin. And with the black and white check layer, it really just helps you to see all those little details that you might otherwise miss. I'm gonna make the brush a bit smaller. This is a pretty time-consuming stage of the edit. So if you really want to get it done perfectly, it really just requires quite a bit of time. Usually what I do is I put on some music, maybe have the TV on and just kind of listen to music, watch the TV program, and at the same time just edit the skin, as this really doesn't require your brains as much. It just requires you to kind of go through the whole skin and get rid of the areas that aren't perfect in a way. Again, with skin retouching, there are many different kind of, how would you say, ways of thinking about it. Some people don't want to retouch the skin at all. Some people go crazy and retouch everything out. For me, it depends on the client usually and the shot that I'm going for. If it's a beauty makeup shot, then I'll go and take the time and really retouch the skin perfectly. If it is a portrait, just something which really doesn't show off the makeup or the skin as much, then I won't be going crazy with my retouching. I'll just get rid of the biggest pores and the stuff that really doesn't belong there. And again, what does belong there and what doesn't? That's the question that people are trying to answer. And what I usually say is that if the thing, the pore, the whatever it is in the skin won't be there in a few weeks' time, then it's okay to retouch it away. If it's a part of their identity, if it's something that they've been born with, then I wouldn't go and take that stuff away, because that's part of their identity. It's something that really determines who they are. And that way I really feel that something like that I should not be touching and retouching away. So, and that's kind of my guidelines for retouching skin. Again, sometimes the client will tell you what they want, and then you'll just do it because that's what you paid for. But when you have a choice, try to kind of think about the level of retouching before you start doing it. Now, I probably won't be going through the whole skin during this video, because otherwise this will be a very long video. So I'm gonna just get rid of some of the biggest pores here quickly, and then after that I'm gonna teach you guys the other technique that I use. Now, some people use the clone stamp tool when retouching skin, and why I use the healing brush tool is the fact that the healing brush tool, what it does, when you go and select the place from where it starts taking the texture, what it does, it really only touches the texture of the skin. It does not affect the color. What the clone stamp tool does is it affects both the color and the texture. The healing brush tool affects only the texture, and that way the skin color remains the same, and I'm not touching the color and changing the color while doing the retouching. So that's why I like to use the healing brush tool. It only affects the texture, and that's what I'm going for when retouching skin. Then of course, when you have some problems with the skin color, that's another part of editing skin. And what I usually do is I either use the hue and saturation panel, or then I use the technique called frequency separation, which is but it's still an advanced version of skin retouching, which kind of creates two layers, the color layers and the skin textures on separate layers. And that way you can kind of edit the skin texture separately from the color and kind of edit both of them at the same time. I might be doing another tutorial about frequency separation later, but you can also try and Google around, and there are many tutorials about this on the web. Now I think you guys get the idea of how this healing brush technique works. So just push down the Alt key, go on a clean area of the skin, and then start getting rid of the imperfections. Always change the area from where you take I'm pushing the Alt key after every second or so, changing the spot that I take the texture from. That way I don't get the same texture in multiple places. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the healing brush tool. Let's get rid of this part here, and then turn off the black and white so we can see what we've done this far. So this is what I did in the, I don't know, 5 minutes or so. So we just got rid of some of the biggest pores in the skin. I want to get rid of those black things that I didn't notice just because they don't really belong there, they're dirt. And get rid of this stuff here as well. Sometimes it's good to, after you've used your check layer, go back here and really just check out what do you have. Did you forget something? Do you see some odd color stuff going on? And then go from there. Yeah, but that's kind of what I do with the healing brush tool. Then, after I've kind of cleaned up the texture of the skin, I soften it up a bit. And how that works is I create a stamp visible layer. And now this is the technique that I was talking about. So Shift, Alt, Command, and E keys. I push down them, and then invert this layer. So Command I inverts the layer. Then we push down or change it down to vivid light. And now it creates this high pass look. So now when we go to filter other high pass, what it does, it gets rid of texture. So now when I pull this slider down, you can see here we have all the texture left. And when I pull the radius up, it starts getting rid of the texture. I'm looking at the skin and just making sure that when the texture is gone, that's fine. So about 8.9 pixel radius with this image, and click OK. So now we don't have any texture in the skin. Then now we can start bringing back the texture with the Gaussian blur. So again, I pull it down and you see we're still back in what we had. And then I start slowly bringing it up, and as you can see, the texture starts coming back. And this way you can really soften up the skin and still have those nice textures going on as well. So let's say for this 8.2 it is nice, and as you can see, it just really softens up the texture of the skin. This really doesn't work with the hair and the eyes as much, because you really want those eyes to stay sharp and the hair as well. So what I usually do is I create a layer mask and then just layer mask this area out from the eyes and the hair. That way it only affects the skin, and that's what we want. So now with this layer mask here, you can see I just got rid of it, and now it doesn't affect the eyes or the hair. It only affects the skin. That way we kind of get this nice, a bit more refined skin retouch done. And yeah, that's pretty much it for my skin retouching techniques. I don't do anything more fancy in a way. I just go in, zoom in, use the healing brush tool, and then soften up the skin texture. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this week's video, and as always, if you have any questions or requests for future episodes, just leave a comment down below and I'll do my best to help you all out. If you like this week's video, make sure to like, share and subscribe, and see you guys again next Tuesday. Bye.